Well, hello, and welcome back to the Chamber Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Foster Garrett, Director of Marketing and Events for the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. Let me just give you a synopsis of what is going on. Every week I interview a different chamber member to find out what they do and why they do it right here at Media Squatch. And before we kind of get to the podcast itself, I have to tell you about some of our upcoming events. We have a lot going on at the chamber. Our next event is actually next week. It's on Valentine's Day from 8 to 9 a.m. at the Bedford Central Library. It's an educational event on the topic of hiring solutions. And we'll have two experts, one from Manpower and one with the Central Virginia Workforce Development Board. And they'll be able to share a lot of different strategies and also opportunities for funding and other things that are available to you as employers or small business owners. So come on out. You can register online for that. It's free to chamber members and just $10 for non-members. After that, we have our first Live at 5 of the year. It's our after-hours networking event on February 22nd from 5 to 6 p.m. at Pinnacle Financial Partners. We'll actually be at their brand new office, some of the first people to get on in there, so I'm really, really excited. They've been building this building for over a year at this point, and it just got finished. So we'll also be having a ribbon cutting for them that day. So no registration is necessary. All of our networking events are free and open to the public, chamber member or otherwise. So grab your business cards and grab a friend and come on down. Like I said, that's February 22nd. After that, we're having a career readiness and community resources event on March 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Bedford Central Library. If you're interested in participating in this event, please contact me. I'll drop my email at the very end of this podcast. But that event is to kind of offer different career assistance to members of our community, such as resume review, elevator pitch practice, and also to have different resources for healthcare, transportation, housing, food, you name it, all in one place so everybody can just get all the resources they need all at once. And that's also to kind of prep for our job fair, which is the next week, March 15th, from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at Timberlake Christian School. The day after the career readiness event, we're actually partnering with the Bedford County Office of Economic Development to offer another quarterly business roundtable, and this one is on artificial intelligence. So if you're interested in attending that, that is free and open to the public. We do ask that you RSVP on bedfordareachamber.com, but that is March 7th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Bedford Central Library. Very hot topic. You don't want to miss this. We already have a great attendance for it. So, if you have any other questions about any of our events, you can contact us. Wait for the phone number at the very end of the podcast, and you can find our full calendar of events on our website, bedfordareachamber.com. But, without further ado, we have a special guest today. I'm not going to say too special because it'll get to his head, but without further ado, let me welcome Garrett Garrett with Garrett and Garrett. Good morning.
Good morning, Foster.
Welcome to the podcast, Dad.
Thanks. This is my second time down here. I was just talking to Woody about.
Yeah, Woody told me that you were one of the first guests on Life, Liberty, and Happiness. And I don't know, I think you treated that with the same eccentricity that you treat most things.
Well, I did bring my trophies with me.
Yes, and a case of adult beverages, I hear.
Well, I was telling Woody it's a little early for that this morning.
I'm glad you see it that way, too. Well, before we kind of get into the question and answer, can you give us a little bit about your background and some background about your business?
Well, my background is I was born in the Bedford Hospital.
Okay, we're going all the way back.
Your mother, my wife, was born in the Bedford Hospital, and you and your sister were born in the Bedford Hospital. And so currently, they're not delivering babies there. You got to go to Lynchburg or Roanoke. So, but I went to Mariah Brown's kindergarten, then Bedford Primary, then Bedford Elementary, then Liberty High School, and then UVA for undergraduate, and T.C. Williams Law School in Richmond for my law degree. And I've been back in Bedford practicing law since 1991, where I've raised a nice family. And it's a small town law firm. We dabble in a lot of different areas of law. Criminal law is probably where I excel the best at. But we do some family law. We do a fair amount of injury recovery law, and so that's what we do. And my only staff is your mother, and we run a good ship, and we enjoy a pretty good reputation.
Well, all of that adds up to what I know. I often ask people like to give like a little bit of like a history synopsis of their business. Can you give the run through of Garrett and Garrett?
Well, Garrett Garrett traces our history back to the two Burkeses, Edward Callahill and Martin Parks Burks, who were father and son, and they were actually Supreme Court justices for the Virginia Supreme Court from Bedford. Their portraits currently hang in the circuit court right behind Judge Updike's bench. Your middle name is Burks, named after the Supreme Court justices, because your mom is a direct lineal descendant of them. The chair that I sit in at my desk was passed down from one Burks to the next Burks, and then it was passed to John Oliver, who brought my dad to Bedford, and then my dad passed it to me. So I sit in a 130, 150-year-old chair.
I didn't know that, but that explains why it's so rickety.
Well, I've had it reconditioned once, and I think it's in the market to have it done again. But yeah.
So, okay, well, I didn't know that full history.
Well, my dad and I worked with another firm that my father was in for about 7-8 months, and then we started Garrett and Garrett in June 1st, 1992.
What?
And we've been in operation ever since.
My brain is shorting out. I thought Garrett and Garrett was like infinite.
No, well, I had to get out. There was only one Garrett in town until I got my law degree. Now, of course, my brother Tom is a lawyer, but he's in Richmond.
And he does insurance.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. And the building you're in is on East Main Street.
116 East Main Street. Gardner Bond, who his grandson, John Bond, he was my best man in my wedding, and I was best man in his wedding. His grandfather started Bedford Federal Savings and Loan in the building that we're in now, and have been since 79. And when you go in, one of the things you'll notice is the big vault.
Mm-hmm.
And that vault Gardner bought that from the Bank of Huddleston. The Bank of Huddleston held on pretty good during the Depression because of the tomato industry in Bedford. It really kept us going around here. At least that's what I understand. I mean, we used to have over 100 tomato canneries in the county.
Jesus.
And but the Bank of Huddleston finally collapsed, and now it's still standing right before where you used to be able to go across the railroad track, right in downtown Huddleston. But
Downtown Huddleston.
Well, it's a few buildings still down there, and but Gardner bought that vault for $400 in 1948, 49, somewhere around in there, and it cost him $2,500 to move it from Huddleston and install it in the building where I practice law now. And so it's a conversation piece. I think it was 81 or 82. One of the tear gas cartridges ruptured in the thing.
Tear gas?
Yes. And
Is that like a preventative measure for somebody breaking into the vault?
right, exactly.
Okay.
And we didn't realize they were still in there. And Martha and Robert Murphy were cleaning for us, and they couldn't hardly even get in the building. It was so bad. They thought that the sewer had erupted.
Oh no!
And so we finally figured it out. And I was in high school at the time, and but they figured out that it was the tear gas cartridge had ruptured. So we removed the other ones out of there, so we don't have to worry about anymore.
What did you do with them?
I don't know who disposed of them, but they're gone. Thank goodness.
Okay. All right. I feel like that's one of those things where there's a proper disposal method, and it probably was not followed.
Well,
poor people at the Bedford dump.
Right. I got a friend that was he was hired to dispose of an ill horse.
What?
And so he put the horse in his horse trailer, took it to the dump, and that's where he shot the horse.
Oh, God.
And he got banned from the dump for 5 years.
For 5 years? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the mind of my father. This is about how all of our conversations go. I get whiplash. Back to the reason why we're here. So you mentioned a couple of the services that you provide with Garrett and Garrett. Can you give us the rundown, please?
Well,
or more so, what can you not come to you for?
I don't do any bankruptcy, and I don't go to federal court, and I don't do real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so all other services for a small town lawyer I can provide.
Excellent. And we talked a little bit about this. My dad has been up my butt about what we're going to be talking about on the podcast, but it's really whatever my guest wants to talk about. And so
we didn't mention shooting horses at the dump.
No, we didn't. We didn't mention that at all. I knew this was going to be an interesting one. Dad.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you can't share particulars with some cases, but what are some of your, what are some moments that make you proud, make you feel good, make you feel like you're making a difference? Because when people ask me if my parents are upset that I didn't become a lawyer, that I won't be taking over the family law firm, I always say no, they're not upset. It does make things more complicated because there's not really another person to just pass it off to, wash your hands of it. But my answer for why I'm not interested isn't the fact that I don't think I could do it. It's that I don't want to be responsible for people's lives in the way that you are.
Well, when you talk about that, it's a thing I tell my clients a lot of times, that when they're pretty nervous about going to court and about what the outcome could possibly be, because in my line of work, it's nothing guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, your ass is in my hands, and there's worse hands to have your ass in.
Okay. Well, give me an anecdote, though. I know you got plenty. We talked a little bit about families.
Yeah, well, family law, that's not a real revenue generator for me. But I enjoy it because my faith, I consider it kind of a ministry to try and help families out, and a lot of times these family lawyers, they want to win this case, win that case, beat somebody up. And I look at my job as trying to, even when you've got two parents that can't live under the same roof, where they should be able to at least come together enough to raise their kids.
Mhm.
And so that's the way I approach that.
And I think whenever we went through the grocery store together when I was a kid, it was miserable because we would go around every corner and somebody would stop you and have a great conversation with you. And about 51% of the time I go, "Dad, who is that?" And you go, "Oh, I don't know." But you would still take the time to really speak with them and you remember details about their case. And I think people really appreciate the services that you do for them, not just because you try to win it, but because you really do it with care. And
One of the best compliments I've ever gotten is that I'm the most human lawyer that anybody knows.
mm,
And I think your experience in the food line or wherever it was is kind of indicative of that.
yeah,
But that's also why if I'm out of town, I'll hit a Walmart or a Food Line because I can get through a lot quicker because I don't know anyone.
very true. Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit the same working at the chamber. I see people I know cropping up everywhere.
No, working at the chamber, you are a semi-public figure, same as me.
Hopefully to a little less of a degree, because how many clients do you think that you've had in the past year?
Past year,
Mhm.
10,000.
I was about to say, I'm not trying to get to that level.
No, I have a very successful practice law.
So, why? Well, I guess we've kind of covered why people would choose you as their lawyer.
Well, number one, I know what the hell I'm doing.
Okay.
And two, I get along with folks pretty well.
I don't know. I've heard you talk to some of your clients because I basically grew up.
Well, that's another thing they like about it, that I don't sugarcoat things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very straightforward. I apologize a lot of times to clients or potential clients when they come in and I tell them something other than that they were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I deliver the bad news as well as the good news, and they appreciate that I'm straightforward with them.
So, what is your service area, Dad?
Say again?
Your service area.
Oh, I've been to Winchester. I've been to Danville.
Gosh, okay.
I've handled cases in Charlottesville. I was in Salem last week. I was in Roanoke yesterday morning. I got to be in Lynchburg tomorrow. So I have law license, will travel. I just have to charge a little more now because gas is up so high.
That's true. That is very true. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
No. Well, tell me a little bit about your partner in crime and what people can expect when they come into the office.
Well, your mom, my secretary, my only staff, she worked in the hospitality restaurant business starting when she was probably 14 or 15. And her ability to interact with people that she developed during that time makes her an exceptional compliment to Garrett Garrett.
And she does all the technology.
Well, she is IT mom.
Not even that. For those who don't know, the only class that my dad did not pass with flying colors in high school was, what was it? Keyboarding?
Typing. Yeah,
Typing.
Typing.
And this man still can't type. He doesn't have a iPhone. He has a flip phone that he pulls up the antenna on, and he only leaves it in his car. It's like a walkie-talkie.
Woody saw it earlier today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't, 1982, I didn't appreciate that typing skill would be something I would need later in life, and I've still not developed it.
How you cannot develop it in the year of our Lord 2024, I don't know.
Well, if you're looking for a lawyer that can type, I'm not your man.
You heard it from the man, guys. Well, Dad, do you have any other remarks that you'd like to offer to our listeners?
No, I got to run, Foster. I don't mean to cut you off short, but I've got court in a half hour, and I've got an office full of witnesses right now that I got to go consult with before we head to the courthouse.
Okay, busy man. Well, thanks for joining me, Dad. I hope that our listeners found this informative and that they'll choose Garrett and Garrett for their next run-in with the law or their estate sale or a will or what have you.
We can take care of all those things.
Alrighty, well, do you want to drop your phone number for anybody that's interested in getting in touch with y'all?
540-586-1034. And we're at 116 East Main Street, catty corner across the street from the courthouse, directly across the street from social services.
Well, excellent. Thanks again for joining me. If anybody has any questions about the chamber, you can call us at 540-586-9401. And you can visit our website for more information about our mission and perks to becoming a member. And also on our website is a full business directory of our membership, including Garrett and Garrett. So you can find all sorts of great things in the region there. But yeah, that's all for today. Thanks so much for listening, and keep an ear out for the next Chamber Vibes podcast.